Anyway, there's this joke, one of my favorite jokes. Back at school, I was actually in chemistry class. I used to dig on some chemistry. Then when it got hard, I was like, I gotta get out of this. But there was a prof who was at school, and I was in this particular prof's class. I don't know why I'm setting this up like a story. The joke is this. Guy related to us, the new class, of something that happened in his former class. And he said, you know, so there I was, I'm the prof. So there I was explaining the nature of how the sun revolves around, or how we rather all revolve around the sun, and, excuse me, we're ever getting nearer, and, excuse me, and that at some point, see the dog in the driver's seat? And, excuse me, I really have to use the restroom. We got people over here. And then we have runners. I saw my man drive by, and I was like, well, shoot, I don't know if it's safe to. I'll tell you the joke in just one sec. It's a pretty good spot. You think it's pretty good? I think it's a good spot. Sometimes you just gotta kind of take that moment for yourself, because, dog, you guys keep an eye out. I apologize for the audio. I really do apologize. Should I cut this? I don't know. This, by the way, and I know this is totally without class. Some people don't like talking about the people in the bathroom. I remember there was back at our school, there was it was a collective banyo. And, one of the editors of this banyo editorial really did not like, he was really affronted. He was like, and I cannot believe, now he was new. It was, I think, freshman year, so you're used to having your own bathroom, and certainly your own bathroom space when you're in there. Alas, that was not the case in the collective that was college. And he was really affronted, and outspokenly so, by people who just discuss things in the banyo. I've had, and perhaps this again is because I'm, rather nonchalant. That's not to say that I don't care. It's just to say that, life is the definition of fluidity. So I just kind of roll. Anyway, I've had discussions and full-blown conversations in the bathroom, and he was really affronted. So he, for him and people like him, I don't relate, but I do apologize for that moment there if it was awkward. Anyway, excuse me. The joke was this. Had a student, he was in here, and I was telling the class, look, we're revolving around the sun, we all are, and at some point we're gonna collide because we're just getting closer. So yeah, in like 14 billion years, we will collide with the sun. Done deal. And he said there was this kid in the front row whose jaw was agape and whose eyes were just headlights. And he looked at this kid, the kid raised his hand. And he looks at the kid and says, yeah, Junior, what's cracking? And the kid just goes, so are you telling me that we're going to collide with the sun and the whole planet will just collide with the sun? We're all going to die. And he's like, yeah, in about 14 billion years, we're going to collide with the sun. And the kid goes, oh, I thought you said 14 million. I laughed my ass off. Thought it was the funniest thing. I clearly, years later, I think it's hilarious. So what I'm saying is, don't worry. The end is nigh, but we got a ways. And people would say, well, that's assuming human beings don't wipe us off first. I don't think so. Your kids and my kids might get wiped off, which is unfortunate, but I'm saying humankind, I really do think the cockroach within will save our skin. This is a cool spot. We're gonna have to come here. I know I gotta get going. Ooh, I definitely gotta get going, but we'll have to sit there at some point. That's pretty awesome. What time is it? Yeah. Anyway, positivity. That's one of the reasons I also really dig on some Stevie Wonder. I think that the people who really enjoy and appreciate planet Earth and their time here, which is a one-of-a-kind experience in and of itself. I mean, I'm not dissing on incarnation. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm just saying that for what we know, all you know is what you've got in front of you. Well, based on what we know, reincarnation is not something that is tangible enough to, at least for me, really be, I don't know. It's just so speculative. You know, the afterlife. And I'm not trashing on people who, I mean heaven and everything. And I know that, you know, that offends, but some. But the heaven thing, we just don't know about. And I'm not saying it's not real. Hell, we just don't know about. If you want to believe in all that stuff, I think it makes a ton of sense. It makes a ton of sense. I mean, I believe in God. For a lot of people, that's totally off base. Well, to me, it just makes a ton of sense. So I'm not denying the sense that any of that makes. It still leaves us at what I would consider ground zero, and that is planet Earth. And, you know, dig it, because it's what you make of it. If you're lucky, you get 90 years. If you're lucky, that's 90 years. You already know that your battery runs out. You know that. That's not something to get upset about. That's not something that should make your mid-40s a nightmare. Something's over there. Huh. At least I hope not. I haven't gotten there yet, and I think I've had a couple midlife crises. I shouldn't say midlife. I've certainly had a few life crises to this point. They've been important as anything, and have really been informative. So I'm not against the crisis, particularly the life-altering, world-shifting crisis. But you know, just know that it's likely to be more intense if you're not cool with mortality. I'm saying mortality is a gift. Check it out. That's where we were before. You can tell it's the same bench because it says, "Thy heart is beating peacefully." Now, see, there you go. There's a positive message. I don't know if you guys can see it. It is rather dark. It's kind of getting that way. That's awesome. It's awesome. Anyway, I think mortality is really a beautiful setup because no matter what you do, it's not the end of the world. It's really not. And in keeping with the cockroach theory of mine, even if you're a crazy person who wants to obliterate the entirety of mankind, I think you're still going to be really hard pressed. I just think so. Although that movie, Children of Men, that's an interesting one. Check that out. But yeah, I think it's fantastic that no matter what you strive to do, your time here and theoretically your impact, it's just temporary. You know, you can look at people like Da Vinci, for instance, and be like, oh, dude died forever ago, but his impact, dude, it's gonna live forever. And on a modern human level, I totally hope so. But really, at the end of everything, you know, if enough books get wiped out, and that's happened before, for one reason or another, and people get kind of, you know, swayed in one direction far more than any other, you could feasibly lose contact with that. I'm not saying it's necessarily tragic, it simply is. Dare I say what it is. I say that often. I apologize for that on one level, and on another, it's just how it is.